Learning to properly cut Armaflex is probably one of the most important skills you'll need. A smooth, clean cut ensures a bondable surface, which ultimately impacts the reliability of the installation. Begin with a very sharp knife or blade. Never use a serrated knife, as this will make for a ragged and uneven edge. Be sure to keep the flat of the blade perpendicular to the material carefully to you as you apply even, steady pressure. When cutting Armaflex non-self-adhesive tubing, use the trademark writing on the tube as a guide. This makes for a nice straight cut, rather than one that spirals around the tube, which makes installation difficult. Sometimes the tubing can get flattened during shipping. If this is the case, always try to cut through the flattened side. There's an important reason for this. Look at what happens when you try to join the surfaces of a flattened piece of tubing that has not been cut on the flattened area. Notice the V-shaped gap that appears once the tubing is placed on the piping. A gap next to the piping like this is nearly impossible to eliminate during installation and could cause problems, since it leaves an open area where condensation could gather. Applying the adhesive to the bond surface is another critical technique. When it comes to applying the adhesive, it's quality, not necessarily quantity, that counts. Armaflex 520 is a contact adhesive, so both surfaces should be completely covered with a thin, even coat. Depending on the temperature and humidity, the adhesive will require 3 to 5 minutes of open time prior to bonding. Adhesive should be dry to the touch, but slightly tacky under pressure when you press your fingernails against the surface and pull them away. If the right amount of dry time has been allowed, the joint will be stronger than the material itself. Recommended temperature during application of 520 adhesive is 40 degrees Fahrenheit or above. One good way to judge open time is to try joining a couple of test pieces. If you separate the pieces and strings appear, then you've put the adhesive joint together too soon. Most often, you will be applying the adhesive onto Armaflex tubing after you have already installed it on the pipe. But when this isn't possible, do not let the two surfaces touch while the glue is setting. You can prevent this by flattening the section before you apply the adhesive. You can also turn the material so that it is actually inside out and roll it into a jelly roll shape and apply the adhesive as shown. Just be careful to avoid brushing adhesive on the outside surface of the Armaflex. If you get a little adhesive on the pipe, simply slide your finger along both sides of the tubing to break the Armaflex from the pipe. Twist the tubing to break any accidental bonds with the piping. When applying adhesive to Armaflex, you'll want the adjoining surfaces to have approximately the same amount of open time for a stronger bond. Also, be sure to bond the opposite sides of the material first, and then work your way through the middle to. When working with longer pieces, say 6 feet or greater, apply the adhesive in sections, first on one side and then on the other, switching back and forth as you cover the entire section. This ensures that the dry time of the corresponding surfaces is relatively equal. For faster installations, AP Armaflex tubes are also available with a self-seal adhesive already applied to the product. When using the Armacell self-sealing tubing, simply snap the tubing over the pipe and pinch the corner of the Armaflex foam to release the corner of the liner, and peel it back in increments of 8 to 10 inches at a time on each side of the tube. Join the seams of the tubing by pinching both sides together with your thumbs. Continue this process through the length of the tube section.